Would a newborn baby feel fear when facing a tiger? No, it doesn't. Fear is closely tied to the amygdala and is one of the emotions we have evolved to respond to threats. Of course, it would be ideal if babies were born into the world with a fully developed set of responses to all situations, just like adult humans. However, given the inefficiency of prolonging the time a fetus spends in the womb and the amount of nutrients it needs, it's not a feasible form in human body structure from the beginning. Hence, we had to utilize the nutrients supplied by the mother within a limited time frame in the uterus to rationally shape the body. We sequentially developed the most crucial and vital elements for survival. We form eyes, nose, mouth, develop various organs, including the brain, heart, liver, lungs, and body tissues. These elements are absolutely essential for survival. However, emotional elements like fear, anxiety, and sadness are not immediate necessities for the survival of a human baby. In simple terms, a newborn baby, which can't do anything on its own, feeling sadness or depression doesn't necessarily contribute significantly to its survival. The same applies to fear. The maturity of the amygdala would inevitably be of lower priority compared to other elements in the fetal development process within the mother's womb. Therefore, the fear experienced by humans is not manifested in early stages of life, but rather gradually emerges as the necessity for each fear is recognized with age. According to research, the fear of heights, unfamiliar people, and spiders starts to appear around 6 months after birth. This period coincides with the time when a child begins to crawl on their own, leaving the comfort of their mother's arms. At this point, if a baby experiences fear of spiders, unfamiliar people, or heights, our instincts will naturally guide them to avoid these elements, ultimately benefiting the baby's survival. Thus, our instincts have evolved to incorporate the defense mechanism of fear as the baby starts crawling. In fact, in studies on the fear of heights, 85% of babies who have been crawling for more than 41 days avoided places that appeared to be cliffs or heights, even though they hadn't experienced falling or injury in such places. Additionally, the fact that crawling babies fear unfamiliar people has been observed and documented in various cultures, including the Guatemalans, Zambians, Bushmen of the Kalahari, and Hopi Indians. An interesting point here is that human babies tend to be much more fearful of unfamiliar men than unfamiliar women. This observation aligns with the hypothesis that historically, unfamiliar men were more likely to pose a threat than unfamiliar women. Furthermore, the fear of spiders has been measured to be particularly higher than that of other insects. This could be due to the fact that spiders, unlike most insects humans encounter, often use venom to subdue their prey, making them more dangerous to humans and evoking a greater sense of fear. As time goes on, the fear of predators seems to become evident around the age of 2, as children begin to explore a broader surrounding environment. Additionally, specific phobias such as agoraphobia, the fear of being in situations where escape might be difficult, and claustrophobia, the fear of confined spaces, tend to emerge later, when a child reaches a phase of leaving home and engaging in broader activities. This is likely because humans do not need to experience all kinds of fears from the moment of birth, and the emotion of fear has evolved to gradually manifest itself at an age when it serves its purpose. To understand this better, let's examine some more fundamental factors. Evolution comes with costs. Let's imagine a man who experiences an extreme and unnecessary fear of snakes upon seeing one. While this man's fear of snakes might significantly reduce the chances of him being bitten, the problem is that his fear is so severe that it prevents him from entering the forest to gather fruits, dig plants, or hunt. As a result, he cannot secure food. In other words, the cost of the fear of snakes, in terms of the opportunities he loses, becomes too high to bear compared to the benefit of preventing snake bites. Therefore, we have evolved to experience a reasonable level of fear upon seeing a snake, allowing us to quickly avoid the situation. In other words, to feel fear at an efficient level. Even today, among the 8 people of Paraguay, a study on causes of death showed that 12% of all deaths were due to snake bites. This supports the hypothesis that young children feel more fear towards animals like venomous spiders, gnats, and snakes than other animals. Why do men feel less fear than women? Gender differences in the degree of fear are evident, Adult women reported higher levels of psychological distress for almost all types of fear compared to adult men. The survey results also indicated that 38% of women experienced extreme fear of snakes, while only 12% of men did. This underscores the need for men to overcome fear better than women, and suggests that this has operated favorably for reproduction, inducing nature to guide men towards certain behaviors. According to statistics from the US Department of Labor, 92% of workplace-related fatalities are men. This is primarily because men engage in risky behaviors such as confronting dangerous criminals, engaging in gunfights, entering burning buildings to rescue people, or mining for minerals. Furthermore, we would not have witnessed dozens of women coming together to build massive arcs and explore continents or venture into unknown territories. This is because such acts inherently carry significant risks. Women who embarked on voyages to unknown places would have had relatively lower chances of passing on their genes to future generations compared to women who stayed home and raised children. Consequently, taking such perilous challenges in nature wouldn't have been a rational choice. Some of these women would have drowned, encountered hostile tribes, or succumbed to new diseases. However, by staying home and leading a safe life, they could have children. This is because women, who possess egg cells that are overwhelmingly scarce compared to demand, had the power of sexual selection. They could choose their mates, and this alone carried immense value. Therefore, women could bear children without creating additional value beyond that. On the contrary, the majority of men were in a position where they needed to be chosen by women. If they only stayed at home throughout their lives without creating significant value, they wouldn't have been chosen by women, and ultimately they couldn't leave offspring. In essence, it's a process of natural selection. As a result, men venture into jungles, mountains, and seas to create value and, in turn, to be chosen by women. Men who embarked on these explorations into unknown territories also undertook numerous risks, and they could have failed in life's gamble. Yet despite that, these men were burdened with the harsh fate of having to succeed. For most men, staying idle at home would inevitably signify a path toward extinction. While some men who embarked on adventures might never return home, those who returned safely, having generated value, would often find themselves with a wife or two and children. In the worst case scenario, even if numerous men never returned home, it didn't have a significant impact. The quantity of sperm each individual man produces throughout his life is far beyond what is needed, as there has always been a surplus of demand compared to the available supply of egg cell. Ultimately, for women, risk-taking meant giving up the certainty for uncertain opportunities, while for men, it involved relinquishing a certain loss for potential failure or success. Biologically speaking, men are designed to tolerate risk, whereas women are wired to avoid it. Consequently, men evolved to feel relatively less fear of risks compared to women due to these differences. Of course, philosophically, one can debate which life is more desirable. Living a safe life at home, unable to bear children and reproduce, leading to death, or facing various risks in the world, luckily obtaining wealth and returning home to have wives and children. Which of these is a more desirable life? However, in this context, there's no need to pass judgment on the value of a specific way of life. We, existing in the present day, are merely the descendants of our ancestors who took uncertain risks and successfully navigated them, resulting in our survival. Subscribing and liking the video are a great help. Thanks for watching.